How's everyone doing? This will be a random horror Blu-ray shelf video. This will be the 7th random horror Blu-ray shelf. I've shown you 6 already, and again, it's random because they're not alphabetized or organized in any way, and I just don't have the room to do so. I need to get another bookcase because I still have some on the floor there, over there, and then in the other room. So once I do get the other bookcase right there, I'll start to alphabetize and organize properly. So right now it's all random. And I want to say too, I put another shelf here. I took a shelf from one of the other bookcases and I put it here. So the last shelf that you saw, bookcase number 6, that was the new shelf on there. And then I also switched out the V for Vendetta set with the mask and put the Halloween 30th anniversary set up there because that's more fitting for horror. And that's the Michael Myers mask right there on the front. This is one of the earlier, I guess, horror Blu-ray sets because I had the Blu-ray for the first one on there. But I'll go ahead and actually take that down and show you everything that's on there. But yeah, it was the Halloween Blu-ray, and then Halloween, the extended cut on DVD, Halloween 25 Years of Terror on DVD, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers on DVD, and Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers on DVD. So the only one that was actually on, oh, and then the original Halloween was also on DVD too. So the only one that was actually on Blu-ray was the first Halloween. So it was an interesting set, but it was limited to 20,000 right there. But I thought it was really cool with that Michael Myers one. I mean, horror fans buy so much. I mean, we're pretty much keeping physical media in business. They know we're going to continually buy how many editions that they keep putting out. And, you know, how many editions of Evil Dead have there been? How many editions of Halloween have there been? But we keep buying them, and they know that. So, but let's go ahead and get on to Random Horror Blu-ray Shelf number 7. And as always, if you've seen these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them. And let me know if you have any horror Blu-ray recommendations for me to pick up. But now let's get on to that. Horror Blu-ray Shelf number 7. Random. First up is Triangle. And this is the UK edition with a lenticular slipcover. Really enjoy this movie. And next up, and this, yeah, I really like the twist and how it all plays out. I think it's kind of underrated, actually. Next up is Troll 2, the 20th anniversary Nilbog edition. Of course, Nilbog is Goblin spelled backwards, and they have the whole documentary, Best Worst Movie. It's just cheesy fun. And when I was a kid, I used to have a crush on the evil Goblin Queen, which is, looking back, is like, why? She was crazy and out of control. But, yeah, I don't know. It was a cheesy, fun movie. Trick or Treat. This is actually hard to find with the slipcover. This is a fantastic, modern, classic horror anthology movie revolving around Halloween. Great cast in here. Looking forward to the sequel. I love that slipcover, too. Next up is Theater Bazaar. This is a mixed bag horror anthology. Some good, some bad, some average. And then a double feature of They and Cursed. Some Wes Craven films. They Live, the Scream Factory release. Love the artwork on here from the Do Designs. And fantastic John Carpenter film. Roddy Piper, may he rest in peace. As well as Wes Craven prior to that with the double feature. Next up is The Vanishing on 7th Street. Kind of a weird post-apocalyptic style movie. I liked the movie, but it wasn't perfect. It had some flaws, but still decent, and I like the cast in there. Venom. It's been a while since I've seen this one. I think I last saw it on like the Sci-Fi Channel. Has some like voodoo going on. The Thing, and I got this as a custom slipcover online. I did a whole video for it on the Blu-ray.com forum. Metrock was the user. I don't think he's active on there anymore. Somebody messaged me recently about that, asking me if I knew how to get in touch with him, and I don't. But very cool that I was able to get this while he was active and still making the slipcovers. So I love that. The Thing is my all-time favorite movie. I've talked about it a ton of times. That sense of paranoia and isolation. Great practical effects from Rob Bottin, Dean Cundy's cinematography, the whole cast, and Ennio Morricone's score. Again, I love the snowy setting with the Antarctic Research Station. Just a fantastic film. My all-time favorite film. And love that slipcover, too. Suit to be able to get that. Next up is Stephen King's Thinner. Now, I actually kept the DVD because this is released by Olive. And the Blu-ray doesn't have all the special features that the DVD does, which is so bothersome. But I do like this movie a lot. Great adaptation. Next up is Telltale. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, and I like the remake and the beginning. I actually prefer over the remake, but I don't like the 3D one very much. I actually do have it right there, but it's kind of for a completionist in me. That line, I'll get to that in a second, but I really do enjoy the remake and then the beginning. Next up is The Thaw. I remember this being decent. I think it had some CG effects that I didn't really care for, but I do like the snowy setting. I don't think it was great. I thought it was decent, though. I need to kind of revisit it. It's been a while, but that's how I remember it. Next up is a double feature from Scream Factory of TerrorVision and The Video Dead. Both amazing movies that should have gotten standalone releases. They've had so many other ones that have had standalone releases, and these ones deserve it way over them, in my opinion. Tormented 3D. Tortured. And I thought this one was decent. I thought the cast here was good. Erica Christensen and Jesse Metcalf. And it was all about the twist. And Bill Moseley's in here as well. And again, yeah, it's all about that ending and that twist. And next up is Stitches, which I had on the top shelf part right there. I still need to check this one out. I've had this for bits, but I've heard people rave about this one. Looks like a clown horror movie. Looks kind of low budget, but we'll give it a shot and check it out soon. Next up is Tourist Trap, one of my all-time favorite slashers. Great supernatural, creepy, with Chuck Connors as Mr. Slauson. Creeptastic. This is the full moon release. It is slightly edited, which is kind of bizarre. There's a kind of an issue with that, and they had David Schmoll, the director, talking about it before, so it was kind of up in arms. It was kind of weird what was edited out. It wasn't like a ton of stuff that was... I think it was mostly just certain like establishing shots and stuff like that, but just a couple minutes, but it's weird that happened. Next up is Tremors, the Attack Pack. Really the first two are the best. After that, it just kind of goes downhill. It does have a nice embossed cover. It was one of the ones called Ass Blasters. I see, remember that. That was crazy. Suck, with has a whole bunch of people in here. I've got Iggy Pop, Henry Rollins, Moby, Alice Cooper, Malcolm McDowell, Dave Foley. Next up is Super Hybrid. This was a cool idea. I didn't love some of the CG effects. It could have been a little bit better, but still a unique idea, and the acting wasn't great either. But again, I like that unique concept to it. And again, Texas Chainsaw 3D with the lenticular cover. One of the worst lines in horror movie history. Do your thing, cuz. Really? Come on now. And it kind of messes up the whole timeline as well. They try to tie it together in the beginning, but this whole timeline of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of thrown off, and you can try to kind of make parallels and make it all fit together, but it doesn't always work. But I'm kind of keeping it in there for that kind of completionist of me. It wasn't awful, but it had some awful moments. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, which I thought was really tense and a really good remake. Jessica Biel is stunning. And next up is Two Orphan Vampires from Jean Rollin. And next up is Fear with Liev Schreiber, Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, and Samuel L. Jackson. Barry Levinson film. Really good sci-fi horror. Splinter, which is super underrated. Love this one. Highly recommend the heck out of that one. And Splintered, with difference right there. Splinter and Splintered. Splintered was not very good. The only thing that makes me keep this in my collection is it did have some good atmosphere, and then I like the last like 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes almost felt like a French extreme horror. The rest of the film was not. It was poorly acted, and it just was kind of generic. But yeah, good atmosphere, and then those last few minutes really made it worth at least holding on to and rewatching and giving it another fair chance in the future to see. Next up is Stagnite, which I really enjoyed this one as well. I think this is kind of underrated. It has Breckin Meyer in it. And they're another one of those ones where it's like underground and you have to kind of fight to survive. Stakeland, another really underrated one. Really cool post-apocalyptic vampire movie with Daniel Harris. And the sequel was decent too, but this one, the original, was awesome. The Stepfather, the remake. Storage 24, I love the concept for it, but it just didn't work here. There's certain elements that I really enjoyed. You get that claustrophobic feel, and I like the concept of the alien and stuff, but it didn't really fully work. It didn't come to fruition.
Next up is the Street Trash Special Meltdown Edition from Synapse. Excellent release. Love this one. Again, street slime, the Viper drink, some crazy scenes in there. Slither. This is the Canadian release, which is super hard to get, but I think they're going to release it on Scream Factory. So looking forward to that, and hopefully I'll have some more special features. But I love this one. Great mixture of horror, sci-fi, and comedy. And the aliens right there, the little worm creatures. It's so many crazy moments in there. Great cast. When that one big lady explodes. And there's a scene after the credits, a real quick second scene that is in there too that I think most people miss. Next up is Strippers vs. Werewolves. And this one has Robert Englund in it. The Prophecy 5 film collection. The Prowler, classic slasher right there. Some great Tom Savini effects. Pulse. I know a lot of people don't like this remake, but I dig it. Puppet Master, remastered. Annabelle. I thought it was decent. A lot of people just crapped on it. I didn't think it was garbage. I thought it was slightly above average. It had almost like a Rosemary's Baby feel to it. There's a couple creepy scenes, especially towards in the basement scene and the elevator. They could have done more with it, but it wasn't terrible. Puppet Master 10, Axis Rising. Quarantine. I know a lot of people hate on this one, but I thought the acting was actually better in this than in Rec. But Rec had a creepier ending, but pretty much a shot-for-shot American remake. Night of the Living Dead. So many releases for this because it's public domain. Night of the Creeps. Classic right there. Primal. Really enjoy this one. It's an Australian one, an infected film. I did a full review for this. My only criticism about it is the ending. The ending was just like, took a complete left turn. And I get they were trying to do something unique and different, but it could have done without that. But still a really good film that I enjoy. Black Sheep, great horror comedy movie. Crazy as heck. Maniac. Oh, this surprised me so much. I was not expecting Elijah Wood to be so good in this role. Supporting cast was fantastic. Everybody played their roles just perfectly. And yeah, I was really surprised at how tense this was. The great gore effects. And Frank Calhoun. And again, produced by Alexandra Aja and Thomas Langman. And great score in here too, and very just one of the better remakes I've seen in a while. Next up is See No Evil with Kane. Really enjoy this one. The second one fell flat for me. It had everything going for it with the Soska sisters directing their first big budget studio film, and they had two Scream Queens with Catherine Isabel and Danielle Harris and the rest of the cast, and then Kane back, but it just didn't work. The kills were generic. The whole thing was generic, and it just... I was so bummed at that one. Shadow People. This was kind of like a documentary style. I really liked some of the elements, super creepy elements here, but the other parts where they tried to do the documentary style just didn't work. Peter Cushing and The Blood Beast Terror, kind of cheesy but really entertaining as well. Urban Legend. Kind of a classic one now that you look back on it. This is one I think a lot of people have seen, and classic 90s horror right there. The Uninvited, which was a remake of The Tale of Two Sisters. It wasn't terrible, but Tale of Two Sisters was so much better. Vampire Circus, Hammer Horror Collection. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter 3D. Vampire Girl vs. Frankenstein Girl, cheesy fun. Jugface. Jennifer's Body. This is one that's grown on me a lot. I didn't really love it at first, but I definitely dig it a lot more now. The Last Exorcism Part 2, which I need to check out. Love the first one. Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. I dig this one. That kind of classic Universal monster kind of feel going on with it. The Boy, which I need to check out still. But I hear it's about like a serial killer, like a kid who becomes a serial killer. I think that's the idea of it, with David Morse and Rainn Wilson. Burial Ground. Love this release from Severin, and love that artwork too. I love how you have the artwork underneath it as well, and they have the other artwork inside too. So 3 different kind of covers that they've utilized, and kind of a classic It has a 70s Italian zombie feel, but it's made in 1980, and that kid is super creepy, and the mother right there is actually pretty hot. She's a MILF, but that kid is one of the creepiest kids in horror movie history. But it's a classic Italian zombie film. If you like those kind of ones, then like a Fulci zombie, I think you'll enjoy Burial Ground. And last but not least on the shelf, actually it could be because I still haven't seen it, is The Vampire's Assistant, which I don't like that. It looks like CG animation on his face right there, but it looks like it's going to be like a horror comedy. It has John C. Reilly and then John Hutcherson and of course Selma Hayek, who is stunning, but it comes in this Blockbuster case because that's where I got it from when it closed down for like $1 or $2. And I don't think a lot of people were aware that this paper insert sleeve can come like right out, and you just put it right in a Blu-ray replacement case. Right there like that. So I think a lot of people stayed away from these Blockbuster ones because of that, but they shouldn't have because they missed out on some great deals. But I do need to pop this one in finally and check it out. But there we go. There is Horror Blu-ray Shelf number 7. If you've seen any of these horror movies, definitely let me know what you think of them. And if you have any horror Blu-ray recommendations for me to check out, definitely let me know. Leave me a comment or video response down below. And hope everyone's doing well and that you enjoyed this random Horror Blu-ray Shelf video number 7. Take care.